sorry I didn't post it yesterday because see I was busy. So you know, let me see what thing I should Okay, let's do this. I want to do a short video. Hold on, pause.
You just
Do you guys hit the like button?
put this part of the pineapple cutter on top of the pineapple.
Like hit the like button, bro.
My name is Anushka. This is a true story that happened when I was just 10 years old. Every summer, my family and I go on a beach vacation with my father's friend's family. We usually visit Puri, a place filled with beautiful temples and golden beaches. It's a tradition, and we love it. Normally, we've stayed at well-known hotels, but that summer, we hadn't booked in advance. There were no rooms available. The staff told us one would open the next morning, so for one night, we had no choice but to stay at a smaller, lesser-known hotel. That hotel sat near a graveyard, far from the temples, far from the beach. But we decided it was just one night, so we would be fine. The day itself was wonderful. We played on the sand, watched the waves, and came back tired, ready for bed. And we all went to sleep early, but around 1 a.m., I woke up with a feeling I'll never forget. I couldn't breathe. When I tried to move, I couldn't. It felt like something heavy was pressing down on me, choking me. And in that moment, I knew it wasn't human. The room was pitch black, but in the shadows, I could make out a dark shape. I was only 10, and I screamed for my mother. For minutes, I couldn't breathe properly. My mother rushed to me, lifted me in her arms, and shook me awake. My father carried me out into the hallway. The hallway had no lights, only an empty, lonely sofa. No staff at the desk, just a large glass door glowing faintly with moonlight. Outside, dogs barked and yelped. Their cries echoed through the night, making the scene even more terrifying. My father laid me on the sofa, trying to wake me. He patted my cheek until I gasped and finally caught my breath. As I looked down the hallway, I saw it, a figure standing in the
Okay, wow, bro. This guy look like
corner,
Slender.
watching me. It was tall. Its hair floated in the air, as if caught in a breeze.
Who do you think you
I
is?
thought it was a woman, but I knew it wasn't human. Its presence radiated anger. I was frozen. We went back to our room. I said nothing, not a word. The next morning, we checked out and went to a famous hotel. There, everything was normal. The rest of our vacation was perfect. But when we finally returned home, I told my parents what I saw. And that's when my heart stopped, because my mother admitted she had seen the figure too, that very night, standing in the same corner, staring, silent. She never told me at the time, and I never saw it again. But from that day forward, I was never the same. The fear of the dark stayed with me. I couldn't walk into unlit rooms, couldn't face dark hallways in hotels, especially hotels near cemeteries.
You're not scary. I'll smack you if you try me.
Hello, my name is Rumaiza. I've always wanted to share this story. This happened when I was about 11. It was a school holiday, and my siblings and I went to stay overnight at my aunt's house. We had so much fun, and when it was time for bed, the three of us slept on a mattress in the living room with my cousin. To give you a better picture, this is what the layout of my house looked like. That night, I couldn't sleep because of a sore throat and a cough, so I stayed up watching YouTube on my cousin's tablet. It must have been around 3 a.m. I wanted to sleep, but the coughing just wouldn't stop. Finally, I turned off the tablet, determined to get some rest. Just then, I heard my cousin's bedroom door open. From where I was lying, I could clearly see if anyone came out, but no one did. And I never heard the door close again. I called out my cousin's name. No answer. Goosebumps spread across my skin, but I tried to ignore it. On the table in front of the door was a plastic bag. Suddenly, the bag's handle began to move. Startled, I called out my cousin's name again. The bag stopped. It wasn't the wind. First, the bag was full of something, and second, the movement wasn't in one direction. It was shifting, almost tugging. And with all the windows shut tight, there was no wind inside at all. Frightened, I turned to face my sister and closed my eyes, but I couldn't shake off the fear. I opened them again and glanced at the black screen of the now off TV. That's when I saw him, a man in a hoodie standing behind me, or at least in the reflection. His stance suggested he was right there, looming over top of me. He looked like my cousin, but it was only reflection, and something inside me knew the truth. I turned around to check. No one was there. When I looked back at the TV, the figure had returned, only this time even closer. A wave of dread washed over me. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't do anything except cry quietly to myself. The figure was coming closer and closer. I whispered a prayer, clutching my sister, and eventually it vanished. I squeezed my eyes shut until sleep nearly took me, but the feeling of being watched never left. When I dared to open my eyes again, he was there, sitting on the sofa behind me, one leg crossed over the other, elbow resting lazily on the armrest, staring, as if he had always been there, as if he belonged there. And behind him stood another figure, tall, pale, only his upper body visible. I couldn't take it anymore. I forced myself to get up, bolted into my aunt's room, and shook her awake. I told her everything. She didn't believe a word. She just gave me cough medicine and let me sleep beside her. Only then did I finally fall asleep. The next morning, I told my siblings and my cousin. None of them believed me either, but I know what I saw. The figure in the TV might have been my imagination, but how do I explain the moving plastic bag? And the thought of that being sitting casually on the sofa, watching me like I was the intruder, still gives me goosebumps.
Ew.
I grew up in a United onesie. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. Both my parents were Chicago.
Last video. Let's get to it.
At the time, I lived in an old block of flats in England, and right next to my home stood an abandoned hotel, a massive 6-story building that had been rotting away for years, even before I moved in. One day, me, my cousin, and my sister decided we'd finally explore it. The hotel was surrounded by a tall fence, but it was crumbling, full of holes. It wasn't hard to slip through. Inside, the place was worse than we imagined. Blood smeared across doors, broken windows, empty rooms torn apart by squatters. The air was heavy, suffocating, like the walls themselves were warning us to leave. Behind the hotel, we found a dead patch of grass and an old, run-down shed. We didn't get too close. Just standing near it made our skin crawl. And then we heard it, the sharp scrape of metal against metal, like someone sharpening a knife. We didn't wait to find out. We turned back toward the hotel, but as soon as we opened the back door, a foul stench hit us. Rot, decay, something like a dead body. Still, we pressed on. We climbed the stairs to the first floor and made the worst decision of the day. We split up. I crept into a room filled with old shelves, books, broken furniture. In the corner stood a massive, worn-down closet. At first, it seemed ordinary, but then, tap, tap, tap. The sound was faint, but steady, like long nails drumming up against the inside of wood. My heart stopped when I realized it was coming from inside the closet. I bolted, out of the room, down the hallway, through the stairwell. My cousin and sister saw me and immediately followed. In the rush, I tripped hard, scraping my leg open, but I didn't dare stop. As we reached the exit, I made the mistake of looking back. And there she was, a woman, mid-20s maybe, long, greasy black hair, ripped, filthy clothes. She was standing just inside the doorway of the hotel, peeking at us from the shadows. That's when I knew we weren't alone in there. When we finally got home, I noticed my leg was bleeding badly from the fall, but the cut wasn't random. It had carved itself into the shape of a smiley face.
The frick?
I didn't believe in ghosts before that day, but after what I saw, after what followed me home, I knew better. The hotel was torn down years later, replaced with new apartments, but for me, that night never left.
Okay, but everyone, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys. Tomorrow, we might do Scooby's, scary video, or we might play a game. We should do that. Y'all want to leave in the comments? Put it down below. See you guys later. Leo is out. Peace.